Welcome back to Dufferin Live. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you're joining us now, of course you're joining me at a great time. So I have a familiar face here on the show with me today, and I'm very excited to have him back on the show. He was here a few years ago. We have Josh Wagner. Josh, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me back. It's good to see you.
It is great to see you too. So you were on here 2022, so it's been a while. And for those who don't know Josh, he's a fighter, boxer, the boss. So we had him here almost 3 years ago now.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what's happened since October 2022.
So the last time I was here, I had just won my first boxing title. So I'm a professional fighter from Orangeville. I had 65 amateur fights. I fought on the international level as an amateur. And then I came to see you because I just had a big moment. It was my first professional boxing match with a title on the line. So it was my first 10-round fight. I fought a very game opponent, 13-2, Jorge Perez. It was a big moment. You know, it was my first big fight with a title on the line, all my fans and family there and all that. And then since then, we've kind of gone on a pretty good tear. I think I was 10-0 at the time when I got my first title, and now we are 19-1 with 10 knockouts. So I think I've had 7 or 8 fights since I was last on. So that was my first title. I actually racked up 3 different titles. So after that, we fought for a second title. It was an IBO Americas title. And then I fought for a third title, which is the IBF International title. But in boxing, there's like different sanctions for boxing. So there's IBF, WBC, WBO, and WBA, and those are the 4 main sanctions in boxing. There are other ones. It's kind of like, if you know what like UFC is, that's like a sanction, and then there's like Bellator, and there's different, it's still the same sport, but it's just different promotional companies and different sanctions. So boxing kind of has a similar thing with that. So the title I won when I first came here, I mean, it meant a lot to me. But in the boxing world, if you know boxing and you're in the inner boxing circle, it didn't do anything for my world ranking. It just gave me confidence to know that I can go that many rounds, fight a good opponent, and you know, it's nice to have hardware. It's nice to have belts, right? But the third title I got, it was the IBF International title, and I fought a guy 17-1 from Argentina. His name was Geronimo Vasquez, and this title means a lot more than the first 2 titles because it's one of the 4 main sanctions I was telling you about. And if you get ranked in those 4 main sanctions, it's easier to get ranked by the other 3, and then you can fight for a world title, which is the ultimate goal. So we won that title. I was 18-0. I was rated top 12. I was rated 12 in the world in one of the hardest weight classes. So I was there. I was right there. 1 or 2 more fights, I would have had a world title shot. And then I got a call to go to France, and it was for very good money, and it was also for a WBO title that opponent had. So my IBF title and his WBO title were on the line. It was a huge, huge fight. It would have put me like top 5 in the world, big money. I would have had a world title probably the next fight after that. It was a very, very big moment in my career. Unfortunately, I went over to France, and I suffered my first loss. And so I don't have the titles anymore. I still have them at home. Like, you get to keep your title. But I'm not the champ anymore. So I've had 1 fight since then. I literally just fought in Medellin, Colombia last weekend. So I'm kind of getting back on the winning routine, back in the winning mindset. I was pretty down and out after my loss. You know, it was my first loss. It was a very big moment. My stock would have went through the roof after that. So there was obviously a couple months where I was a little bit down and out. I didn't even know if I really wanted to continue boxing. I had to go back to work, no more sponsors, things like that. It was a pretty low time in my life, but I got my mojo back, and I feel like we're back in the winning mindset. And I just told you, I just fought in Medellin, Colombia last week. And anyone in the boxing world would look at the fight, and it didn't look like why would Josh be going to do this fight? He's not fighting a good opponent. You go from fighting at this level, and now you're going back down to this level. But there also is a business side of boxing that people don't really understand. So I have a huge opportunity coming up at the end of July in August. And if I win that, it'll be for a WBC title, so one of the main four.
One of the main
And it
four,
will
okay.
put me, so right now I went after the loss, I was ranked number 12, and I got pushed back to, I think I'm 48 now.
Okay.
And then we're talking, this is out of 3,000 people, so I'm still
Still
yeah.
great, like,
so I'm
still
still the
awesome,
top
yeah.
1% in the weight class, but you know, we had to take a little detour. The goal is still world champion, make money so I can retire and start a gym and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff, right? That's the ultimate goal. So I just fought in Medellin, in Colombia. I fought a guy 11-8. His opponent was his record was not very good. But I go into every fight. I prepare the same as if I'm fighting a world champion.
Right.
You can't take anyone lightly, right?
No, absolutely.
It's a sport where you can get really seriously injured. So we got the win. It was more of a business transaction because the fight in UK in the end of July, the commission will not allow you to come off a loss.
Okay. Okay.
So we were pretty much going down to Colombia to get a win.
To get a win. Okay.
And that's the business side of boxing. I told my promoter I feel very silly. You know, I'm a humble guy, but you have to do what you have to do. But to go from fighting at the you know, the top to fighting it was a little bit shady, and it wasn't like an arena. It wasn't a lot of fans. It was very different. But I think the experience was awesome.
Well, that's what I want to talk to you about too, right? Because it is about the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you went in to that match and you hadn't lost anything, and losing for the first time and losing such an important fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk. I mean, we don't have to dwell on it. You're moving
We
forward.
can dwell on it.
But I want to
I've had a lot of time to
like,
process it. You know, I was very depressed. You know, I was telling myself and my girlfriend, we live together. We have 2 beautiful dogs, and you know, it was a hard time for both of us because, you know, I was on a rise and I was on the upward, and all eyes were on me, and I can still get there, and I am going to get there. I still believe in myself, very much so. I think the loss had to happen. I make no excuses for myself, but going into that fight, I was not fully mentally prepared. I had a little bit of an injury, but I don't want to be that guy that makes excuses. That he won fair and square. If I wasn't prepared, I should have said no to the fight. I took the fight. It is what it is. We move on.
But I think that there's something that we learn from losing, whether it's something that like something like that, or even, I mean, when you're talking personally for other people, like, you learn something from a loss.
So yes,
There's always something that you take away.
100%.
And the idea is to move forward,
Yes.
to be positive about it, find that whatever you need to kind of stand up again and go.
100%. And like, there was a period of time where, you know, I was pretty depressed, and like, I was on the upward, and I had to go back to work, and I was thinking, you know, the conversations were more, why do I want to do this? Why am I doing this? Getting punched for a living is a hard way to make a living.
I can't imagine, yeah.
But it's I always say this, I don't think I chose to do this. I truly think it chose me. And boxing has saved my life in many ways, and it continues to do so. And I'm just grateful to have that outlet.
Yeah, and I think that's an amazing outlook, and it didn't take you long to get to that point, which is good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, so I fought in November of 2023. It was in France. So I mean, there was a couple months there where I was pretty down and out, just lack of motivation, not wanting to go to the gym, just like I said, the conversations in my head were, why? What am I doing? Let's just go be a normal person, work a 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm the type of person that you do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we all kind of reach that point in our lives where, you know, depending on what you do, you need to love what you're doing. And then sometimes, even though you love it, you have to sometimes take a step back, question what you're doing. Like, if it's not working out,
Yes.
how do you get past it? How do you move on? How do you find that love for what you were doing before and getting past whatever's happened, whatever it may be? And I think that's a lesson that everybody learns at some point in their lives.
100%.
Yeah.
And I try to take, obviously boxing is my life, but the loss, it wasn't even just for boxing. I feel like my whole life has made a huge shift in my relationship at home, in my relationship at work, with my family. I think, obviously I didn't want to lose, and obviously it would be nice to be undefeated still and be top 6 in the world, but
you'll get
everything
there.
happens for a reason, good and bad, and I feel like my life has made a change, not just in boxing, but just in my day-to-day life, so it needed to happen.
Perfect.
It really did.
Perfect. Well, we've got about 3 minutes left, so I just want to touch a little bit about how, and we did this the last time because I'm always fascinated. Let's talk a little bit about your training process and what you go through before and how you get into that mindset.
So, boxing is a year-round sport. Like, you know how hockey, soccer, there's like certain seasons. Boxing is an all-round kind of sport. It's a very lonely sport. So you have to be very self-motivated. You know, no one's going to wake you up to go for a run and go train and stuff like that. So when I don't have a fight lined up, like I just fought, it was a first-round knockout. So I not much wear and tear on my body. I went and trained today.
Okay.
So I'm working right now full-time. So I'm in the gym after work. If I don't work too late, I'll go to the gym. When I have a big fight lined up and there's a lot of money where I know I can take time off work, it's twice a day, 5 days a week, one rest day, cold plunge, sauna, every day, eating, drinking a certain amount of water, all your food is weighed out. It's very, very strict. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is
too,
a lot.
Right? And
just
to stay in shape, and we're not even going to talk about me getting in shape. But anyways,
well,
it's very impressive.
I'll give you a boxing lesson. We can do boxing lessons.
I think, you know what, we should do that on a show one time.
I'm totally okay with that. I'll show you the 1-2 hook.
Yeah. I think I went and I did, this is totally off topic, but I did some training, like I did it at the gym, and it was a boxing thing, and I was like, I'd never done it before. It was a lot of fun. So
yeah, it is fun. Boxing is a sport where I tell everyone this, all walks of life are welcome. Obviously, I take it very seriously, and it's very intense because my life is on the line when I'm in there.
Yeah.
But for a person like you or kids, you make it fun. It's an amazing workout. It keeps you in shape. You know, I find too, growing up, I had a lot of anger issues, and it was an outlet for me.
Yes.
You go to the gym and you work out for an hour, I guarantee you're not going to have road rage. You're not going to be mad.
That's what I need to do.
You're too tired. You don't have time for it. Yeah. So boxing is for all walks of life. You can have fun with it. You can take it serious. It gives you goals. It gives you motivation. It gives you structure in life. Yeah. And it's really kept me sane.
So we've got 1 minute left. You're going to talk to the people that, or the guys, the girls, or anybody interested in boxing professionally. What advice would you give them?
So if you're asking me if you want to take boxing seriously and box professionally, what would be my advice?
Just to the young guys and
my
girls that are watching.
My advice would be train hard, be the hardest worker in the room, find yourself a circle that you can trust and you can count on through ups and downs, and just believe in yourself. Just there's going to be people that doubt you. There's going to be days you doubt yourself. And I always say, starve the confidence and feed the doubt. On fight week, that is my motto. It's starve the doubt, feed the confidence.
There we go.
Yes. Yes.
No, that's amazing. I think that's amazing advice. And you can take that and use that in any part of your life, I think, as well. Josh, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It was good to see you again. And you'll come back after your fight.
We'll do some boxing lessons.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. So we're still...